you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are all these things that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a fan that loves you. Doesn't judge, at least not as harsh to the rest of the world, because we know you're growing, you're learning, you're talking to all the amazing people, or listening to all the amazing people. I'm the one talking to them, but you guys get to listen along and check out all the wonderful stuff they're doing there. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book's success. Today, we had an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her book, Rebecca's Soliloquy, a true story, out August 12th, 2014, by Roberta Nee Nee. We're going to get into it with her and find out her story and some of the journeys that she's been on, et cetera, et cetera. Welcome to the show, Roberta. All right, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Chris?
I am doing excellent. Give us your .coms, any place on the interwebs you want to be found.
I don't have a website yet. I do have an email, but that's about it right now. I'm getting that in the works, though.
And so watch for that, folks. Send us the link to that one, and we'll add it to the show whenever you get that up. So your book, Rebecca's Soliloquy, true story. Tell us about this book.
The story is a family story that was told to me by my late mother-in-law, and it's about her great-grandparents. And when she told me this story, it absolutely captivated me, and I knew I would write it, and eventually I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what is the story about?
Well, the story is about two brothers. They were both Moffats. They lived in Obion County outside of Troy, Tennessee.
Moffatt being their last name?
Moffatt being their last name, yes. And her maiden name was Moffatt. It was, anyway, these two brothers in the Civil War, they both signed up for before the war. One was a merchant and one was a farmer. Augustus was the farmer. Both were relatively wealthy before the Civil War, but they joined up with the Confederacy and went to fight. The merchant brother gets his arm shot off and gets sent back home. And the farmer, Augustus, gets wounded and taken captive and taken to a prison camp in St. Louis, which is 250 miles north on the Mississippi. And while he is gone away at war, his wife, Rebecca, finds on their farm a wounded Yankee officer. She nurses him back to health, and he writes her passes to go get her husband out of prison camp and bring him home.
Wow.
So she leaves the farm with an older couple who had been former slaves on the farm. But by the 1860 census, Augustus didn't have any slaves, so he freed them all well before the war. But they leave the farm with an old two-wheel dog cart and an old horse, and they walk to St. Louis and get him out of prison camp and bring him home.
Wow! And by foot. I mean, they didn't drive, or catch the bus.
Nope. No bus lines in.
No bus lines in. Let's see. They didn't have cars in the car. Yeah, they didn't have cars in the Civil War. So I was there at the Civil War, but that's why the memory's fading me. Anyway, so this was this part of your family lineage, the Moffatts lineage?
Yes, by marriage. She was my late mother-in-law.
Oh, wow.
And it was her direct great-grandparents. And yeah, when she told me the story, like I said, now the story had been handed down orally through the generations. And basically, what I told you is all I had to work with.
Wow.
So I had to kind of connect the dots, so to speak, in writing the story. And I tell the story in letters that she writes to her husband while he's gone,
Oh, wow.
showing how she overcame her fear of the Yankees and had the courage to make a trip like that at that time. And what
250
happened?
miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and back.
Wow. Oh, that's right. In fact, duh. So 500 round trip.
Yeah.
She probably should have just booked a plane on Southwest.
Yeah,
By the way,
Southwest, I believe, would be almost a direct flight from Memphis.
yeah, there you go. There you go. By the way, our sponsor today is No, I'm just kidding. We don't have a sponsor. We have Spirit Airlines. We were going to play the tape for it, but it broke. The tape broke that we were going to play now. No, that's just not nice playing with making fun of airline places. But no, that's quite the thing. Now, was it in the story? Her husband was a Confederate.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Was it kind of illegal, or could she get in trouble for saving a Union officer?
Well, she very well. Now, the Union had control of Obion County early in the war, but as far as her family and townsfolks and all, they would have considered her treasonous for what she did. Yeah.
Yeah. But it helped get her husband free.
Yes, it did. And it was the way I wrote the story, the secret didn't get out until it was time for her to go and get her husband when she got the passes. So,
there you go. Now, is this total history or is this historical fiction, as they sometimes classify these?
Actually, it's historical fiction. Like I said, I had to come up in my own head how all these events might have taken place. So, actually, there were things that happened in the book that I didn't even know were going to happen when I started the book.
Wow. Wow. Now, there's something in here about she traveled on foot with an older couple of former slaves on the farm, an old horse, and a two-wheeled dog cart.
Yes.
That sounds like... And is dog cart the horse something the horse pulls, or do you have to hand pull that?
The horse would pull it.
So I think I know what those look like. The old...
Yeah, old two-wheel cart with three sides. Yeah. Open in the back.
Yeah. Those things don't ride well either. The shocks on them are horrible.
They're terrible.
Yeah. I think that was one of the recalled models from GM back then. So I'm not sure what happened there. But no, this is an extraordinary story. I mean, this really is. And
when you stop and think about it, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you've heard there have been volumes of books written about battlefields and generals and the soldiers, but how many stories like that are out there that have been lost to history?
Yeah. And this got passed down family to family.
Yes.
We've had some authors on the show and some of these, different stories that get passed down. And that's kind of how they kind of kept track of things because, writing in paper was expensive or, most people didn't really know how to write. So it was kind of what they used to call a griot back in the day in Africa. They would have historians of the tribe, and the historians would have to keep an oral history and everything in their brain, which I don't know how that worked out if your historian got eaten by a lion, but you had to make sure, hey, protect that dude because he knows everything about the history of our tribe and don't make sure he doesn't happen to him, and he's not allowed near water or any place he can get an infection, like stubbing his toe. So this is pretty interesting. And I imagine you dug through some of the history of this maybe, and what was that like? Maybe trying to, maybe get some dates and times and data.
Well, one of the most interesting things I did, I went into the Library of Congress and I found a map of the Mississippi from Memphis to St. Louis that was done in 1864. So I copied 4x4 squares, 82 of them, and I pieced them all together like a big puzzle. And I taped it to a door while I was writing the book so I could judge, it told what cities they might have gone through, what little towns, and that kind of thing. So I could kind of judge how far they might have traveled in a day's time, and that's how I figured out the timeline.
Yeah. There you go. I've been to St. Louis and a lot of their barbecue rib joints. I would probably walk on foot 250 miles to get some of those ribs.
For their barbecue?
Yeah, for the barbecue. I'll go out of my way for barbecue. I love a barbecue. Plus, that authentic sort of stuff they have there. What did your family chip in on some of the stories? Did people have some variant versions or different details that you're able to that they helped with, or how did that work out?
No, because that was by marriage side of the family, and there wasn't. My mother-in-law, we all called her Granny because she looked just like Granny Clampett. So anyway, she was the historian. Now, I have pictures of both Rebecca and Augustus and a picture of the house they lived in. And I've been to Troy. They're both buried at Troy City Cemetery. I've seen their graves. And just, most of it was what I did on my own. And just the style of writing, I really enjoyed that style of writing. And I'll have to tell you this. You're familiar with Ron Maxwell, who has directed Gettysburg?
Not too familiar, no.
Okay. Well,
go ahead and tell me about it.
He's a renowned expert on the Civil War. And he directed Gettysburg, Gods and Generals, and Copperheads. Anyway, he read the book and told me on the phone, he said, Roberta, I got to tell you, I was well into the book before I realized that those letters were not authentic.
Oh, so he believed it. He was like, this sounds factual.
Yeah, he thought they were original letters. I don't know what gave me away, but
well, good for you. Did. That's some historical, what do they call it? Historical fiction there, done well. Yeah. I mean, maybe how were you, they kind of had sometimes some different English and prose back then.
Exactly.
P-R-O-S-E. How did you know how to tune into that?
Just because I've read since I was a kid. In fourth grade, I was reading Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay.
I've always related very strongly to that time period. And as a matter of fact, after I'd already written the book, I ran across a diary that a girl from Nashville who was 16 wrote during the Civil War. And the phrasing, it gave me goosebumps. It was so close to what I did.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. Maybe Rebecca was kind of over my shoulder while I was writing it.
Yeah. You never know. You never know. And it was, those were some difficult times. 250 miles. I wonder how long it would take to walk that on foot. Did you Google it or anything? I think directions can tell you.
No, I didn't. And actually, I should know off the top of my head how long I had it in the book.
I think you should have done the walk for research. Don't do that. Don't do that. That sounds. You're gonna need some good walking shoes for that.
Yeah, and I didn't have the motivation she had getting her husband out of prison camp. So
yeah I would have left him. I think most.
She must have been crazy about.
She must really like that guy. Maybe they weren't married long. They were just newlyweds or something.
Oh.
But every wife I know, she would leave him. She'd be like, free at last. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to put this in the map thing because I'm just curious how long a 250 walk takes one way. And so it's directions from what city?
From Troy, Tennessee.
Troy, Tennessee.
St. Louis.
To St. Louis, Missouri. They finished it for me. Great. That's 241 miles. And let's see, they're doing drive time with me. I don't want drive time. I want to walk it. They're like, they're acting like, who would be crazy enough to walk this thing? That's what they're doing. It tells me it's 22 hours in bus time if she took the bus, but she would have had to have one of those Greyhound memberships.
Yeah, she did.
Why can't I get this? And it's from the Phillips 66 at West Reelfoot Avenue. Oh, I accidentally did put buses. Where did that come from? I put distance in, switched to buses on me. Distance from Troy to Missouri, travel math. Will it give me walking? Driving, distance, flying. It will give me walking. Like, they're just like, no one walks that.
My brother and his wife just did 100-mile walk, and they did it in 10 days.
10 days?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So here we go. Oh wow. Okay, I finally got walking.
Oh.
102 hours.
102 hours.
One way.
Okay. So if you walked 8 hours a day, that'd be about 13 days.
Yeah. One way.
Yeah. It took them a little longer because they got bogged down with weather for a couple days.
Mississippi.
And then there was a very, very a big disaster happened, and that slowed them down. And so,
that'll do it.
But they made it in good time.
Yeah. Wow. She really must have liked him. So there you go. What are some other aspects of the story that you find interesting readers should know about?
One thing is, I think every author probably does this, but they put little secrets in their book. Okay.
Like Easter eggs sort of thing? In gaming, they call them Easter eggs. They put little secrets that people can find.
Yes. Yeah. And some people will know these if they read the book, but most people wouldn't. But I had an uncle who was, his name was Steve, and I was born in Gardner, Massachusetts. So the Yankee that she nurses to health, his name is Stephen Gardner.
Is that even a name that was used back then? Or
I don't know. He was from the north, maybe.
I thought they were all named Mabel and Dearest Margaret, or I don't know. I'm just being funny, but yeah. And how long did it take you to write this story?
6 months, and that's another little story. I had told people the story for years, and I kept saying, "I'm going to write that someday. I'm going to write that someday." And I told a friend of mine one time the story, and I said, "Isn't that amazing?" And he says, "Oh yeah, really?" And I said, "I'm going to write that someday." And he says, "Well, write it. Sit down and write it." And I said, "Well, I need to go back to school and learn how to write a book." And he got, No. That story is in you. You need to write it. Just start it." And then I told a colleague at work about it, and he says, "I'd give you to the end of the year to do it," which was 9 months, and it took me 6.
There you go.
One gave me, one got me started, and the other put a deadline to it, so that made it real.
I love it. Sometimes the best work is done under necessity. So sometimes you got to have a gun to your head. Let's see. Now, did you start and end the book why did you start and end the book in the present day is one of the questions I've got set up here.
I started the book in the present day in the original Moffatt house.
Okay.
The antebellum home. And I started it in the present day because we're connected to the past. It's not something that's dead and gone. It's past, true, but the connections are there.
Yeah.
And so I started it and ended it in the present day.
And you got secrets in the book. What did you enjoy most about writing the book?
Using that language, using words that people don't use anymore. So
like gumption or something. I don't know. I can't think of any Civil War words.
Yes.
How did you know what those words were? Are they commonplace in the South, or are they kind of in the history books there?
No, it's the time period. It's a time period, and I've read a lot of older books. I love the language. I love the language. Yeah.
Kind of romantic age.
Yes, yeah. And people had a a way of speaking then, using things, if they were educated, But something else that Ron Maxwell told me, he said if he were directing the movie, that he would not change a thing.
Oh.
That's my hope. Eventually he'll make it to the big screen.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, you got enough there for 2 hours. You got a 102-hour walk. You can just cut out in pieces, and you got like your sequels and stuff, First 25 miles of the first movie, and the next 25. You just call it the next 25.
That could be a mini series, absolutely. Yes. And there's a story within the story about the bonnet box. Oh. And this was a cousin to the two Moffatt brothers, moved down from Haverhill, Massachusetts. He went to Troy, but then he went on to Nashville. He had been a shoemaker. But when he got to Nashville, he met and married a Southern girl from a prominent family in Nashville. And when war broke out, he swore he would not bear arms against either side. But he joined the Union, and he was a guard at the federal prison in Nashville where they kept their prisoners of war. And they had a shoe shop at the prison. They slaughtered the cattle, they tanned the hide for leather, and they made shoes for the Union Army. And this gentleman befriended a Southern prisoner of war, and the prisoner made a bonnet box for the guard and his wife for an anniversary gift. And I took it to the museum, Tennessee State Museum. They had a pair of shoes there that were made at the prison, and they got those out, and they authenticated the leather on the box, and the tacks were shoe tacks, and it's decorated in carved cow bone. And I've got that bonnet box now. That was passed down through the family, and it was my late mother-in-law that had it, that passed it on, that I got it.
Well, that's fun.
There's my next book.
I think so. That, or you do the walk yourself, and you turn it into a documentary.
Doggone it, just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. Here's where they peed on the side of the road because they didn't have restrooms or 7-Elevens.
Here's where the horse got stolen.
Here's where the horse peed on the side of the road. So here's some slang words they used in the Civil War. The chief cook or bottle washer was a person capable of doing many things. That's what they call me. They'd be like, "Are you a podcaster?" I'd be like, "No, yeah, these are slang words used in the Civil War."
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So a chief cook and bottle washer was a person capable of doing many things.
Right.
Sheet iron crackers, that doesn't sound tasty, were hardtack biscuits.
That sounds even less.
You gotta have a lot of salt for that. A pepper box was a handgun pistol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. An Arkansas toothpick was a very long, large knife.
Okay.
Use that in your teeth with great care.
Yeah, right.
Graybacks were names for Southern soldiers or lice. Wow, that's kind of something.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, that's a backhanded thing. If I ever go to the South, and somebody pisses me off, I might call them a grayback.
There you go.
That's probably not a good idea. Greenbacks are money. Breadbasket was your stomach. I think I'd fill mine with plenty of bread. So sardine box was a cap box, part of the soldier's ammunition. Civil War slang, folks, on the Chris Voss Show here today. So Civil War times, things passed down. Anything more we need to know before we go out?
That's mostly it. I think it's a wonderful story, and everyone should read it. It's not a hard read. It really would be like a weekend read.
Yeah. Well, lots of fun and history and all that good stuff. And I think you mentioned in your retirement, you're doing some newspaper work. You won some awards. Do you want to give a plug out for those?
Oh, well, I just recently was awarded by the Tennessee Press Association first place in state for one of my business articles and third place in state for one of my feature articles. And I enjoy writing, so I'm having a lot of fun with this job.
So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. It's been wonderful to have you on the show. Give us I think, an email or something you had or anything you want where people can find you on the interwebs.
My email is first initial R, last name Adams, dot Trinity Clinical Research at gmail.com. I owned a company. I owned Trinity Clinical Research, and we did clinical research for pharmaceutical companies. And just retired from that recently.
Well, congratulations on the book. We'll look forward to the next book out, or the next the movie version of the book. And they're always doing those World War, or not World War. They're always doing those enactments of the Civil War. I always see like those shows where they're all dressed up and they rebellion, and they're pretending to shoot each other this time.
Yeah, and they're really serious about getting the uniforms right.
They are.
Yes.
It's quite wild, but
fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Did they ever decide that? They ever see what happens if the other side wins that didn't win the first time? Maybe just to kind of see what happens. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah. One thing I was reading about the Civil War is the amputation was how they fixed most problems. And there was like a story of a guy who he got his guts blown out. And he thought, well, oh my God, they're going to cut me, the bottom half of me off. And I kind of like that part. And so he went and hid, hoping he could just die because he didn't want to get cut in half. And then I guess they eventually found him and saved him, and they didn't cut him in half. But I don't know how the rest supposed to have worked out. I suppose they put some duct tape on it and sent him on his way or something.
Yeah.
Or, you just put a little gunpowder on there and fire it up, and that cleans out all the wounds.
That's right. Cauterize it. Yeah.
Cauterize
for sure.
I got to poop now. Yeah.
One of the things that Rebecca, one of the things that she was so desperate to get to her husband was that she had heard soldiers say that their chances were better on the battlefield than in a prison camp. So, the conditions were so horrid.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Roberta. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me, Chris. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Order up her book wherever fine books are sold. Rebecca's Soliloquy, a true story, out August 12th. 2014. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok and all this crazy place on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out.